Welcome back, everybody. In today's video, we are breaking down Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end for the Indianapolis Colts, selected outside of the top 10, but still a top half of the first round pick. He has immediately been producing for us in fantasy and in real life for the Indianapolis Colts. But just how good is he? Is he already an elite tight end? We're going to take a look at his usage, some advanced stats, and help contextualize that with the film we're going to break down to assess exactly how good he is right now and what we might be able to expect from him in the future. Watch to the end of this video and you should have a pretty good idea how good Tyler Warren really is right now, and based off of that, what we might be able to expect from him in the future. And so let's take a look at some advanced stats here. Now, it's only week 6, so these guys haven't played, even half of their allotted games for the season yet. So I wanted to get enough of a sample size in terms of volume of players for this to mean anything, but at the same time, for each player to have had enough volume for these stats to mean anything at the same time, right? So I settled on tight ends with at least 25 targets. That was a sample size of 19. I think that's pretty fair because, a lot of tight ends that are worse than, say, the top 20 tight ends just aren't remotely close to as talented as the top guys. But Tyler Warren ran 186 routes so far. That's 87.6% of the team routes. He is going to be blocking sometimes, so that's not going to be 100, and it's almost never going to be 100 for any receiver, to be honest. That's crazy. Now, taking a look at his deployment, he has played in the slot 38.2% of the time, out wide 15.1% of the time, and in line 43.5% of the time. So this indicates that he is being used all over the field. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is being put in motion constantly to take advantage of matchups and not allow the defense to really key in on him and to make their lives a living hell, which he is doing so far. So he is a versatile player. Remember, if you watch the prospect profile video I made of him, he was a high school quarterback, so he can throw the football. He's also a dual threat. Well, I want to say a triple threat because he can pass the ball, he can also run the ball, as well as obviously receive the football, being a tight end, right? And a quadruple threat if you include blocking too. Now, taking a look at his yards per out run, his 2.27 are first among this sample size. He is a rookie tight end who is already leading the NFL, at least among tight ends, in yards per out run. Granted, George Kittle has been out, who might have given him a run for his money for sure. But man, that's higher than McBride. That's higher than Bowers, who has been playing injured, to be fair to him. But still, nonetheless, incredibly impressive. Now, PFF gave him a receiving grade of 74.3. Take that for what you will. That's tied for 6th among the sample size. I don't really pay too much credence at times to the PFF grades, but I thought it might be interesting if you are somebody who does, to get an idea as to how they personally would rank him among the tight ends in the NFL in terms of specifically receiving the football. Now, taking a look at his yak per reception, his yards after catch, his 7.0 are first among tight ends. So first in yards per out run and first in yak per reception. Not only is he a good thrower of the football, especially for a tight end and somebody who hasn't played quarterback since high school, and a good rusher of the football, but he's also good after the catch, which goes hand in hand with rushing the football for him too. Now, his missed tackles forced of 2 is tied for 10th. Nothing crazy. He's not really the juke you out of your shoes type. He's the I'm going to out physical you and there is nothing you can do about it type of tight end, which we do appreciate around here. Now, his contested catches, he's 4 out of 9 for 44.4%. In terms of the targets, he has 40, which is not quite that is 3rd among tight ends, I believe. But that's 6.67 a game. That's awesome, right? That is, and this is immediately as a rookie in a relatively crowded room. I mean, they have Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., A.D. Mitchell's a decent deep threat. Same with Alec Pierce. And obviously they have Jonathan Taylor, right? So I thought the volume was incredibly encouraging, and that is earned volume. Make no mistake. In terms of his receptions, he has 29. So roughly 75% of his targets have been completions. That's nice. For 4.83 receptions per game. In terms of yards, he's actually first among tight ends in total receiving yards with 370, and that's 61.67 per game. That is awesome for the beginning of your career in a relatively crowded situation. And he has 3 total touchdowns, including 2 receiving and 1 rushing. And he has 1 touchdown in each of the past 3 weeks. And that's good for half a touchdown a game. And to further look into some advanced stats, before we get to the film breakdown portion of the video, in terms of his first downs per out run among tight ends is 0.117, ranked 3rd. That's impressive. His yards per target of 9.3 are 5th among tight ends. His yards per reception of 12.8 is 5th among tight ends. And the yards per target being, in my opinion, significantly lower than his yards per reception indicates that he is good at yards after catchability. In terms of yards per team pass attempt, which is a good measure of somebody's value to their offense, he has his 2.02 are 1st among tight ends. So we've already seen multiple key statistics where he is 1st among tight ends, not just rookie tight ends, not among his own team, all tight ends. That's awesome stuff, man. In terms of his fantasy points per out run is 0.52 are 6th among tight ends. His fantasy points per target of 2.12 are good for 8th. And his total fantasy points in a full point PPR setting with, I believe, no premium of 84.6 is good for 2nd among tight ends. And I mean, 3 touchdowns in 6 weeks, that'd be about 8 on the season, give or take. Maybe 9, depending. It'd really be 8.5 for the average. But that's a solid number for a tight end, right? So considering he's not being booned by, an absurd amount of touchdowns so far, 3 is fine, but that's not otherworldly. That shows you that he's getting his fantasy points for the most part, at least in the beginning 3 weeks before the past 3 weeks, in terms of just getting positive yardage and receptions. In terms of his yards after catchability, his 198 are 1st among tight ends. Like I said, he is very good after the catch. His unrealized air yards, which is when Daniel Jones, for instance, would throw a pass, if he's 20 yards down the field, but it's incomplete, that would be 20 incomplete air yards, right? So he has 84 total on the season, which is 9th among tight ends. So you could, if that had been completed, it would have just been added to his total receiving yards figure there. Like I said, 3 total touchdowns. That's 5th among tight ends right now, though. We like that. In terms of his fantasy points per game is 14.1 and a non-premium rank 4th, but that's a full PPR setting. To be 4th already as a rookie in your first 6 games is pretty impressive to me. And it's not that, there are no tight ends producing for us. 14.1 points per game is a very good number. If he could hold that for the duration of the entire season, he could potentially be number 1 if he doesn't miss any time doing that. And if we see any growth, there's definitely the potential for a tight end 1 finish for him. In terms of the target separation, is 2.18 yards of target separation, ranked 10th among tight ends. We like that he's able to separate. I'm going to show you his ability to separate on film. In terms of his dominator rating, that is his market share of the team yards and touchdowns. His 24.7% is 7th among tight ends, which, remember, he's playing with Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and especially Jonathan Taylor. And then you add in Daniel Jones and his ability to run the football. That is a very good number when you think about the offense. In terms of juke rate, his 12.1% is 2nd among tight ends, making people miss. I will say that I don't know that he's going to generally be the 2nd best at making people miss. In terms of force missed tackles, he's more of your physical guy than the juke you out of your shoes guy. And the jukey guy is generally, unless you're just somebody is such a physical specimen that they can just truck anybody, the finesse guys are generally going to have more higher juke rate. In terms of the explosive rating, that is runs of 10 or more yards, I believe, and receptions of 20 or more yards. His 120.1 explosive rating is 3rd among tight ends. So he is creating chunk gains with regularity. Now, in terms of the drops, he does have 2 drops. I'm going to show you one of those drops on film. That's 4th among tight ends with volume and hint, with poor ball placement. You are generally going to have drops. Nobody's perfect. That's not an absurd number where, you got to be thinking as a coach, oh man, this guy's talented, but if he can't catch it, I can't depend on him. We are not even remotely close to that territory, obviously. Now they have his contested catch rate at 28.6%, and they have 7 targets. PFF's contested catch rate, I believe, was 44.4%, so they have him a little bit lower on this. His hands generally haven't been a huge issue, but we now have 2 different numbers for this, which is a little bit odd. I'm not sure how they're charting that. That tell us that, hey, he's not mossing people in contested catch situations. So that's something to note. But so far, we see that, he's first in total receiving yards among tight ends. He's third in receptions among tight ends. I believe he's also third in targets among tight ends. We see that, once again, he was first in yards per team pass attempt, first in yards after catch ability. The advanced stats are telling us that he is performing incredibly well. And the usage is telling us that he's being used all over the formation. So those 2 out of the 3 things we're going to take a look at here in this video are telling us that he is a very good tight end right now. And dare I say, an elite tight end right now. But what does the film say? Does this match up with what we're seeing in terms of these advanced stats? Well, let's take a look at the film and let's decide for ourselves. And I want to give a special shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you to Big Hunt, SP, Mage Jack, Infamy MTG, AOYOB, and The Dawn. Without your support, this would not be possible. As you're probably well aware if you've been watching my videos for a while, I cannot get monetized because of the film breakdowns I do, and even just the little videos I have where I have clips of plays in them. They get demonetized every single time, making it, therefore, impossible to collect any revenue. So, obviously, your support is greatly appreciated. And if you are so inclined to become a member, the perks would be you will get access to a private Discord where we have both a real life and fantasy football chat, as well as a voice chat if you just don't want to have to type a bunch of stuff. I'll also give you detailed roster breakdowns and roster reviews where we talk about the strengths and weaknesses of your team. Then we kind of break it down further by looking into the scoring settings themselves and the starting lineup requirements to help you build the best team to help you dominate for years to come. In both Dynasty and then in Redraft, obviously, I'd help you with a good solid game plan, especially if you know where you're drafting from. Then also give you detailed trade advice based on your specific league settings to help you dominate. Also give you access to private live streams and the ability to not only see videos at least one day early, but also the ability to suggest videos that you would like to be created. So if you would like to support the channel, I would really appreciate it. If not, just please like and subscribe. Let's get back to the video. Taking a look at the first play from Tyler Warren, he is in line right here. What we're going to get first, though, is a return motion by Jonathan Taylor. So he's going to head to this side of the field before returning to the left side of Daniel Jones. The purpose of this is to assess as to whether the Raiders are going to be in man or zone here. After Jonathan Taylor returns, you're going to get Tyler Warren motioning back to the backfield. What's going to happen is Daniel Jones is going to hand the ball off to Tyler Warren, and he's going to head to this side of the field. In terms of blocking, you're going to get the left tackle heading out here to block for him. You're going to get a nice seal from the tight end here in the slot. And then what you're also going to get is a fake block by Michael Pittman Jr. before heading to the corner. And so this is theoretically a really creative play because Tyler Warren should possibly be able to hit the corner of this end zone here. Unfortunately, this is not going to work. The Raiders are going to be in a cover 2, and so you're going to have your 2 deep half safeties. You're going to have your 2 flat corners as well as your hook zones. And this is just going to be bottled up completely. Michael Pittman Jr. is going to find no room. They're all over it, and there's just nothing for him to really work in terms of on the ground here. So he's just going to throw the ball away. But nonetheless, this is still very encouraging to see Tyler Warren being used as a quarterback because he was a quarterback in high school. And so obviously he's been a tight end for a couple years now and hasn't been a quarterback, but still very impressive by Shane Steichen. It's unfortunate it did not work in this scenario, but very creative play calling. And this bodes well for him in the future, I think, especially if Shane Steichen can keep his job, which, based on how the Colts are performing, I don't really think is going to be an issue unless we see a ridiculous collapse. But like I said, there's just nothing here for Tyler Warren, but still very cool play design by Shane Steichen. All right, taking a look at the second play I'm going to show you, this is actually a Tyler Warren rush. Fun fact, he has had 4 rush attempts on the season. He is going to score a touchdown here. Right now, they're in the offset I. He's lined up as a fullback. He is going to receive the handoff and go straight forwards. What you're going to get here from the offensive line is these guys down blocking, and then the tight ends heading upfield. He's going to run C gap here. and he is going to score a touchdown. And so this is a really impressive demonstration of his power. As you can see, there are 3 defenders right there. Yes, he has 2 blockers, but he is completely surrounded. And so he's just going to power through them. He's going to get a little bit of help from Daniel Jones. Shout out to Daniel Jones. I mean, is this Baker Mayfield? And as well as obviously some of the offensive linemen here. But just yet another example of creativity in the Shane Steichen offense and utilizing players to the best of their skills. Man, Tyler Warren is so dangerous. He can throw the ball, run the ball, catch the ball. This guy is probably the most complete tight end in the NFL in the sense of versatility. Maybe not in the sense of being the best at specifically everything, but as far as versatility, I really do challenge you to find a tight end as versatile as Tyler Warren. Taking a look at the first receiving play I'm going to show you, Tyler Warren is once again lined up in line right here to the right of the right tackle. He's going to go in motion to the backfield. I really like this play design. Very impressive stuff. First of all, you're going to get a 9 by Alec Pierce down here. Then you're going to get A.D. Mitchell, creating conflict for the deep middle field safety here by heading across the field. But what they're going to do is send Tyler Warren straight up in between the offensive linemen and vertically down the field. This is an incredible design, and it's going to be effective. Let me tell you that. As far as the Denver Broncos, they're going to be on this side. They're going to be matching in terms of they're going to be showing man coverage, but I do believe that this is really a cover 3. You're going to have a deep middle field safety and then a deep third is on this side as well as your hook zone linebackers. This is an incredible play call. Watch how effective this is. So like I said, he's going to go in motion. You're going to get a play action fake to Jonathan Taylor. The entire defense just about, besides the cornerbacks, bite. And so what you're going to do, once again, is get this safety in a conflict because there's the potential for this receiver to streak completely open down here if this cornerback doesn't get enough depth. And obviously, the safety at this point has to worry about Alec Pierce, who appears to have already gained about, maybe half a step on the cornerback on the bottom here. But watch Tyler Warren. Whoop. Way too easy, completely open. The play call was extremely effective. The deep middle field safety is all the way down here, as to be fair, he needed to be. Otherwise, there's a potential touchdown. But yeah, Tyler Warren, good hands, and then heads straight up field like we like. Isn't able to break a tackle, but still very effective play, good yards after catch ability. I love the way he turned up the field immediately. And just once again, for the millionth time, really cool play design by Shane Steichen. It's really awesome, to be able to see what this offense could have been looking like if Anthony Richardson would have been a little bit further in his development. Unfortunately, we're not sure that there's any development, but nonetheless, very good play calling, effective against this defense, and Tyler Warren is just such a dog. And on the next play, we have Tyler Warren lined up in line right here. This is going to be 12 personnel because you're going to have 2 tight ends. What Tyler Warren is going to be doing is running a corner, and you're going to get a dig underneath. This is not going to work, unfortunately. What the Broncos are going to be doing is they're going to be blitzing every down lineman here, this linebacker, as well as the edge here. And then you're going to get a cover 3 zone here, where you're going to have your 3 deep third defenders and your underneath coverage. On this play, the only issue, as I'll show you, is that this linebacker is able to contact Tyler Warren and bump him off of his route, disrupting the timing, as I'll show you. So he gets bumped, which obviously stalls his progress and disrupts the timing of the play because Tyler Warren is trying to get over so that this dig can get underneath. And as you can see, it alters the route here of the dig, as well as, Tyler Warren's route was altered. And so actually, I know that the dig is going to be open, but as you can see, Daniel Jones at this point has no time really. I understand it's open right now, but if you take a look at right here. He is already in throwing motion because he is about to get decked. So there is just no time for him. He's going to throw a prayer here up to Tyler Warren, but because the play was disrupted, it allows the Broncos secondary defenders to get to Tyler Warren, force in completion here. But Daniel Jones is really lucky this wasn't intercepted, to be honest with you. But this just shows how one little thing going wrong in a play can completely disrupt it. I mean, oh man, if that, I know that this was a heavy blitz, but man, if that pass protection would have been able to hold up, the dig was going to be wide open. But yeah, as far as Tyler Warren is concerned, really, I want to see, is there really anything he could have done here? I mean, not really, because he can't really go to the right, or obviously he's going to run into the other tight end who's running the dig. So really, this is just unfortunate, to be honest with you. But once again, an almost interception, very dangerous, and a good example of what can happen when just the tiniest thing is disrupted in terms of timing of a football play. All right, so and on this play, this is going to be the first negative play by Tyler Warren. Now, it's not just him on this one. So I'm going to show you the end zone view here, the tight view, because I think it's so much easier to look at the ball placement here, which I think is something to discuss here. So Tyler Warren is lined up right here. He is going to get disrupted initially by the edge rusher in front of him, but he is running a whip route where you fake in and return towards the sideline here. This is going to be effective, and he is going to get some separation. As far as the Titans are concerned, they're going to be in a zone. So you're going to have your two linebackers here in zones, hook zones, and then this linebacker is going to come up and guard Tyler Warren. Like I said, Tyler Warren is able to get separation. And on this pass, I think the ball is, to be fair, a little bit low, but at the same time, you are an NFL tight end. You have to catch something that hits you in both hands. So like I said, 49 kind of... Tyler Warren gets disrupted on his route a little bit. Then he's going to fake in, head towards the sideline, get a good amount of separation. As you can see, he has to bend down a little bit because the ball's low, but it does hit him in the hands. And even if he was unable to get any yards after catch because of the poor ball placement, you at least need to catch the pass here. So this is the first thing that I've been able to definitively criticize him for. He's playing really good football, man. I've been thoroughly impressed. And if this is as bad as it gets on his film, that's really nothing, in my opinion. And on this play, I have not a negative for Tyler Warren, but something that kind of irks me. So you're going to get a dig route from this guy. You're going to get Tyler Warren right here. He is going to spot up right here in the soft spot of his zone. You're going to have a seam by the slot receiver, and then another stop right here. As far as the Rams, they're going to be in a cover 3. So you're going to have your 3 deep third defenders. You are going to have a robber underneath, as well as your underneath coverage over the middle. There is going to be a soft spot in between this linebacker and this linebacker. On this play, I would like Daniel Jones to just have a little bit more anticipation. If you throw this ball even just slightly earlier, man, this is a completion. So not really a negative for Tyler Warren. He's going to identify that they're in zone right here. So he does what he should. He spots down. Now, Daniel Jones, as you can see, if he threw with some anticipation, if this ball had already come out, for instance, I know it's hard to judge as to whether a linebacker might break on it. But as you can see, he's still cocking it back and launching the pass, and it's just going to give the defenders here enough time to not intercept, but get in the way of the football of the pass here. And so he is going to break it up at the top there. Like I said, just a little bit more anticipation would have been great because he gave the defenders enough time to react. Now, if he had caught this, probably gets a head start here. I'm not sure as to whether he would have found an avenue. He probably wouldn't have found much this way with this safety. Maybe he's able to slip behind here if he were to have gotten a block, but nonetheless, still a chance at a little bit of yak and a chance at a reception if Daniel Jones just threw with a little bit more anticipation. And on the final play I'm going to show you, we have a touchdown by Tyler Warren. You're going to get a vertical route by the outside receiver. Tyler Warren is lined up in the slot here. He is going to be running an out. I believe the Raiders are going to be in a cover 3, so you're going to have 3 deep third defenders with your flats and then your hook zones here. So on this play, Tyler Warren has the exact leverage he wants because as you can see, the cornerback safety, I think it might be a safety, has severe inside leverage here, which is on purpose, but for the sake of what the Colts are trying to do here is perfect because it allows Tyler Warren to get the leverage that he so desires to be able to catch this football. So Daniel Jones knows exactly where he wants to go. As you can see, his eyes are and have been on Tyler Warren since he received the snap. And so Tyler Warren breaks open, catches it. And now what I like about this is we've seen, for instance, really it's that people, for the most part, have been dropping the football before they get into the into the end zone. But we've also, to be fair, seen some fumbles. So he covers up with both hands here, which I really, really like. Just get across the end zone. Tough finish from Tyler Warren. It's good to see. It's good to see usage in the red zone. And I really think the sky's the limit for this guy. He reminds me... I don't even know if I have a real comparison, to be honest with you. He's just so good. He reminds me, he's somewhat like Trey McBride, I want to say. But so far, we've seen very good hands. We did see, though, while he usually catches anything within his catch radius, to be fair, we did see that one drop where he was running the whip route, and to be fair, the ball placement was not ideal. He had to bend down a little bit to be able to catch it, but it hit him in both hands, and he ended up dropping it. Then we also see he was disrupted on that one corner route where there was the dig also in the concept, which I didn't really think he could do too much about, but just something that was preventing him from scoring. Then we saw on that little spot where if Daniel Jones had just a little bit more anticipation, that was a catch and potentially some yak. But as far as Tyler Warren's concerned, in terms of positives, we've seen that he can get upfield in a hurry. He's extremely versatile. We saw him, remember, throw a pass, a rush for a touchdown. He has 4 rushes on the season and 1 pass attempt. And obviously, he's getting heavy usage in the pass game. He's being used all over the formation. He's being constantly put in motion. It's beautiful. Shane Steichen. This is what a Shane Steichen offense looks like with competent quarterback play. As far as his talent right now, I really do think he is a top 5 tight end without doubt. As far as the upside, I think he could definitely end up being the best tight end in the NFL with time. He was a little bit older as a prospect, but he has wasted no time immediately dominating. And what, to be honest and fair to him, is a pretty crowded offense. I mean, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman are solid receivers. You know, Jonathan Taylor, they want to run the ball with him substantially. So, you know, it's not as if he's just the only guy and he's just being force-fed targets. These targets are earned. And, man, you have to be excited if you're a Colts fan. If you own him in fantasy, obviously you have to be excited. I think you have a set-and-forget tight end 1 for probably about 10 years, give or take, assuming, you know, no major injuries or sudden regression in his play. But what do you guys think? Were you as impressed as I was with this film? I think this guy is a dominant tight end 1, like I said. And I think he's very soon he's going to establish himself in terms of consensus as one of the top tight ends in the NFL. So anyways, if you would like to, I would really appreciate it if you would support my Patreon. That would be awesome. I'm unable to collect any revenue when I do these film breakdowns. And if you are not able to, or just do not wish to, if you could just like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, that would be awesome. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.